I've tried to do this video a few times this morning, and they've bored me. So I'm going to try and keep it short and sweet, and I might add a little bit of kind of writing to go along with this. But on what would be, I think, my lovely mum's 76th birthday, I wanted to just say a few little things about happiness, because for those who knew my mum, for those of you who don't, one of the most amazing things about her was her ability to live in pretty much a constant state of happiness. Obviously, she had her down times. Obviously, she had her anxieties. We all do. But generally, she managed to put so much positivity out and so much love. And it made me think, I guess, on today that would have been her birthday, and I'm sort of thinking a little bit more about, how did she do that, and what was it that made her so loved and popular, and gave her an ability to almost to give out this limitless sort of positivity and excitement about others and about the world around her. And I think that it was one of the things is I think she managed to keep hold of a kind of childlike element, or really she kept hold of a part of her which really made her tick, and for her it was her creativity. It was actually the same for my sister Katie, and I think at a time when I've been going through some more counselling and stuff, and not least of all, but not solely, but not least of all, to still deal with the loss of my mum and my sister. It pointed out to me that when we go through these traumatic experiences, which are inevitable, aren't they? I mean, death is one of the only certainties in life. But when we're going through grief, it has become really apparent to me in the last few months that not only are you grieving the loss of someone or something very important to you, but you're also experiencing you're grieving for yourself, and the loss of yourself, because events like that leave you really questioning who you are, in the scheme of things, in the big scheme of things, and that can be tough, and getting back to finding yourself again, and ultimately back on the path to happiness, can be a bit tricky. And I've been doing some stuff recently, which was a result of suggestions from CBT sessions that I've been having, which have been really, really helpful. And what I've been doing is getting myself out of a kind of default primal survival mode, where really the only part of your brain that you're using a lot of the time is really just about assessing danger and looking out for danger and responding to danger, which is not particularly conducive to feeling free and full of possibility, and open to receiving love or giving love, because you're basically on Amber Alert all the time. So what this did for me, and I wanted to share it just in case this helps anyone else, or it makes you think about, maybe I could do something similar. But I've been doing stuff like, rather than kind of waking up, putting on the PC straight away, looking at my work emails, earlier than I should actually be working. Um, maybe popping the telly on and looking at something, kind of mindless, or a loop of, kind of misery on the news. Uh, I have been waking up and doing something creative, because for me that was something that I really had lost. I'd shut down. I was telling myself that's no longer important. You those that part of you is gone, and the Amber Alert was basically telling me, and if you do continue to be creative and enjoy that stuff, you're going to lose out in the end, because you're not going to earn any money from it, and or you will be flagged up as the phony that you are, and you're rubbish at it anyway, and you just won't get any joy from it. And so to get out of that survival state, I've been getting up, I've been making a cup of coffee, I've been taking 5 minutes just to look out the window, appreciate nature, get into my breathing, think of a few positive things, if it's a beautiful day, or even if it's a cloudy day, looking at the formation and the beauty of the clouds, this kind of stuff. But then I've been doing some free writing, and a lot of the time it's absolute nonsense, but it over time it has really helped, because it's activating the creative part of my brain again. And then a little bit later on in the morning, so I'm not annoying the neighbours, I'll do a little bit of drum practice, and then I will go into the rest of my day, and I will do my work and whatever. And early on doing this, it felt like a chore, and I understand that sometimes when you are in a state of anxiety or sadness, it can be so crippling that doing anything other than just being in survival mode can seem really, really tough. But even doing something that reminds you of, I think a lot of the time, what you were like as a kid, anything that transcends you, that lifts you out of this, kind of classically adult state of, paying the bills and being the person that society expects of you. Going back and doing the things that when you were younger, or in a previous part of your life, that you just lost yourself. Time disappeared, worries disappeared, and you had a sense of calmness and a sense of happiness, and a sense of really almost resonating with your true self. If you can remember the things that gave you joy, that possibly you're not doing anymore, and you could do a little bit of that, and it might just be, all you can manage is 3 minutes first thing in the morning, or a particular time of the day when you think you can spare those 3 minutes. And if you can do that every day, and just see what that wakes up in you, and how that can start shutting down this survival mode, which was important early on to get you through the real intense immediate trauma, but that can slip into the background again and allow you to be aware of life again, aware of possibility, of hope, of kind of taking risks and thinking laterally, or using your imagination. It has been really helpful for me, and I think in an era where we're under so much pressure to be perfect all the time, to post edited, polished, photoshopped versions of ourselves to the world. Sometimes when we're struggling, it is increasingly likely that we might be struggling on our own, when there isn't any need. lots of people around us are feeling the same way. We're not as unique as we think we are, and in this context, it's a good thing, because we're not some kind of freak who can't cope with life and everyone else is doing great. We're all experiencing very common responses to life. So I'm going to stop whittering now, but I just wanted to say that is, for me, things like the free writing, doing some drum practice, has been really, really helpful. And I have found over the last few months that the sense of anxiety that I had about life, about confidence in myself, about not being enough, about being a bit rubbish, and about the fear of loss in the future, and therefore avoiding exposing myself to potential loss, have all really abated. So I hope you find that helps. And going back and just thinking about my mum, and the kind of thing that she would be saying to me, and would be saying to an awful lot of so many people that knew and loved her. At the end of the day, just do what you love. Don't forget to do what you love, because that way you can then love others.